Fine, guys. So let's start. Welcome all. Welcome to this boot camp. So we have successfully completed till our week 4, and today we have entered in week 5. So in the last class we have studied about express approval system plus the Spring Boot concepts plus the Spring as well. So those who are watching on the YouTube or the recording, they can follow the previous recording. Then only it will be clear. Yes, and in this class, we will continue with our expense approval system. So as a quick recap, tell what we have done and how you will tell. If you want, I'll share this code after once we complete this. And if you want, you can just add those things inside your resume. That is completely fine. And as I promised, for the third project, we'll have multiple things, multiple microservices with advanced feature. So those two projects are up to you. You can add in your resume as well. I'll give the context as well, the HLD, how you are thinking, and all everything. Okay. So let's start with this expense approval system. So what actually we are doing is, what the system actually are doing is the 3 roles we are providing. So if I need to write the role or what it can do. So the first role is very easy, that it has employee. Okay. The second role is for the manager, and third is for the admin. Okay. And this you can start also thinking in this way. If you want to share this with any another senior who wants a recap on this, so what it can do, we can submit the expenses as we have discussed a lot more time. Okay, I hope so I'm audible, right? Can anyone talk? Guys,
Yes, you are audible.
okay, fine. Submit expenses, then it can view their own expenses. That's the first thing. Second thing, for the manager, what he can do is he can approve or reject. That's the first thing he can do. Another feature that we are trying to add for this is if he wants to view the summary, and also we'll have this get AI manager summary. So somewhere the managers is also can check the summary if he wants a quick recap what he has done. The third thing is for the admin, and he can view all the expenses, comma, he can view the summary. So this is the first thing that we are trying to build over this, and here is the AI crisp that we will add it. Second thing is very important, as the first thing is basically what the system does. So what the system does, that's the first thing. Okay, second thing comes in the picture is the system context, like how we are going to work. So it's very easy. I'll just try to draw the things, even though I'm very bad, but let me try. Okay, so this is a rectangle. Okay, and this is nothing. This is, we have this client. Okay, and guys, this is very important. Again, you need to be make sure how you will present it. So just like I am presenting, you should also responsible like this. So we have the client, we have the postman, we have the front end. Okay, the next step is where it is going. So I'll just quickly create a line over here, and I would say we are using this rest. So I will write like rest plus JWT, and let me minimize this. Yeah, then I'll put a draw line again. Where? Yes. Yeah, this one. And I will just say what are we trying to do is expense exposing the API, right? So expense approval API that will host on our Spring Boot. So Spring Boot, and it will, the port will be 8080 that we have decided. That's the third thing. Okay, now the picture is clear what we need to do. Let me align this, guys. I don't know why it is not aligned, but it's fine. 1 second. Yeah. Then the expense approval system has the 2 part. First is for the JPA and JDBC. So again, if I need to draw the lines, this time it will be the elbow arrow, and elbow arrow will point towards this. We'll write that it will be JPA or JDBC. That's the first thing. Then let me also minimize this. Yeah. Second elbow arrow, we need to draw again. Yes. So second will be your chat completion, chat completion, and these all operations will be possible. Well, where it will go, so again I'll try to draw a line for this. So for JPA and JDBC, it will call our database, right? So if I say that this is my database, so I'll say H2 or MySQL is up to you. SQL is for I'm using this because I love H2 database for showing the demo and all. That's why I'm using this H2 or MySQL. And for the chat completion, what are we doing? For the chat completion, we are using the Grok AI API key that I have already been shared, and also you can create it. So let me create this. Here we will use this API. So I'll say Grok API key. Simple. So if someone will ask like how we are trying to do, what is your initial plan or how we will build it, this is the guys expected response that any interviewer will expect. So this is your system context. This is nothing. This is not a system design. This purely we call it as a system context. So you get to know, right? What are we doing over here? So I'll write system context. This is our system context, and already I have shared this link with you all. So if anyone wants to check after this recording, they can also refer this system context. I'll just put like this. Yep. And this will be bold. So this is our system context. What is happening? Client, postman, and front end is there. Front end is calling our REST plus JWT. Then it is calling our expense approval API. Then it has two parts. First is JPA JDBC for the operations, and second is chat completion. So someone will ask like what actually it is doing. It is just a context of my system, like how the majorly things will look like on this. Okay. Till now this is clear to all. System context is clear to all. What is actually the system context? Okay, so there is a fine line between system context and your high level architecture. Okay, always remember before starting with the code, I just want to make sure like what are the things I am telling here. Please use that in the interview as well. System context and high level architecture are not much same. They have differences. So let's start now with to see what is actually the high level architecture. So right now I'll just try drive like this. High level architecture. Okay, we can bold this. Yeah. So high level architecture. ARCHITCTL. Yeah, perfect. So high level architecture means like if you are applying for a job where they will say that, hey, what you have done in your previous company, can you let me know? Because you all already have more than 2 years of experience. Okay. So their expectation is at least you should tell me what is actually building it and how in your project you are doing all the things. So it's very simple. First of all, what you need to do, you need to write the cross-cutting technologies. Okay. So for our project, as we aware, like what are we actually doing? So first thing is, if I say cross-cutting, I'll explain you what is cross-cutting. Inside this, we have two things, right? The first thing is data loader, seeder, data load seeder. I think yes, in the last class we have a discussion. Like first of all, when we are trying to run our application, we are seeding the data. Means like if you, according to your mail ID, you will get a system like admin, HR, or employee. Correct? Means employee, manager, and admin. These three. So data loader is important, and second is global execution, GLOBAL, global exception handler. Okay, these two things. Perfect. So that is the first thing. Inside this cross-cutting, we have two things, data loader and seeder, when we try to run the application. After that, we need to build the client layer. So for this, what are we doing? We are building the client layer. Okay. So inside this, we have this HTTP client. Because we are not exposing any UI. UI, it's up to you. I'll share the code. If you want to create it, you can do it. So we have this HTTP clients, and this is nothing. This is a client layer. So I will mark it as a client layer. This is our client layer. Okay. After that, what will happen? After that, we have another thing. So I'll quickly draw over here. It will call what? It will call the another hierarchy. That is our security part. This one. And this will call our security part. So this security has two things. Again, we have already seen. So this is my security. And security has the two parts. The first thing is we are using the JWT authentication filter. Okay. And second thing, we are using security config. Security config, I'll tell you what is this, is plus stateless architecture. We are following it. Stateless. Let me write it, man. I mean, it is not looking great. Let me write. Okay. 1 second. Hold on. I'll just try to write it. So this will, the first thing is our JWT auth filter, and second thing is our security config stateless plus your RBAC. I'll tell you what is RBAC. Hold on. Okay. So these are the two things that we are going to discuss it. And yes, HTTP client. I'll quickly delete this part as well. Okay. I'll go to this. One second. Okay, perfect. Then we have will have a API layer. So after this JWT, okay, we will start with our API layer. So we have multiple API layer. So these are the three API layer. If I draw this, so inside this, let me bifurcate this. Okay, we'll have this three. So I'll use this one, control C, control. Yeah, this one. C2. Okay. There will be three API layer. So the first API layer is very easy. You all know that for once you log in it, right? So inside this, I can simply write the first thing will be your auth controller, AUTH auth controller. And inside this, we'll have this /API/auth. Okay, so I'm telling you the Spring Boot guys from very scratch. Okay, how you can do it. Spring Boot is not that much of tough. It's just like we don't know actually how to start it. Okay, so expenses. So this is the plan. Then the third one will be our AI controller. AI controller. Inside this AI controller, we'll have /API/API/AI. So total three things we are going to expose it over here. Controller. Let me decrease the size. Yes, perfect. These are the three things. Okay. So if I need to write it, so it's very simple. If I need to tally it, so first HTTP will go there. 1 second. Yeah. Arrow. So first HTTP will go there. Okay. After this, what will happen? After this, what will happen? JWT, it will call our security. So again, we need to write like this. This JWT will call our security config stateless. After this, if we are all done, then we'll call three parts. The first thing is authentication controller, expense controller, and AI controller. Okay, then we will start with our service layer. So I quickly draw the service layer. So this is the whole architecture you need to explain to the interviewer, or someone will ask like how you are going to do it. Okay, so if we have, and listen carefully, how we are going to draw it again. So we have three things: controller, controller, controller. So every controller will be have three services, right? So I'll say control here. I'll copy this. 1 second. Control C, 1, 2. So total, I will serve with this three services. That thing we know in the last project also. Okay. So let's start now. So if I have this API, so this API will call this controller. Assume this controller, and if I need to write it, where is the text? Yeah, this one. So this will be our auth service. Okay, this will be our authentication service. Then the second thing will have this expense service. Okay, and the third thing will be AI summary service. Okay. Why I'm explaining this much? Because when we'll start with the third project, that will be our major project of this Spring Boot Bootcamp. So I'm expecting you all know about the circumstances which I'm trying to draw it. So when we start with the basics, it will be very easy for us to understand it, right? So that's why. So this next thing is this. So I'll say this is the second thing, and that this thing is our third thing. Perfect. So we have this expense services, we have this, and we have this. Okay. Then we have the processor as well, correct? You know, right? We have this because how this auth service and all is calling. So we will see how. So let me draw another service that is very important. So I'll quickly draw over here one, Control C, Control V, and two. Once again, copy this, paste this. Okay, I'll draw it. What is actually doing? So we have this async processor. So async expense AI processor. We'll get to know what is actually we are trying to build it. This is the first thing. Let me put it in the center. Second thing is that where we are doing is AI expense analysis service. This is another service. And the best part is this AI manager service that we have it will link it. So it will link like this. Okay, this expense processor will call it. Okay, this summary service. Now, actual thing start in the data layer. So if I quickly write down the data layer, let me go there. Here will be our data layer. Okay. So this is for the H2 database. Control C, Control V, and this will be our other data layer. So there are two things that yesterday or in the last class we have shown, right? The app user repository and our expense repository. So if I draw like this, let me remove this. And the third one is very easy. So more shapes. If I say database, let me see. Yeah, this is my database. Okay, so I'll quickly put this over here. Okay, this is my database. And what are we calling over here? We are calling app user repository. That's the first thing. Second thing, what are we calling? Expense repository. That's the second thing. So API and this is there. Now, the main thing is how they are interlinked with it. So obviously we know, right, that this app user repository will call this, expense repository will also call this. Will also call this. This is my, you can say that this is my app user or expense database. Okay, how we are calling? So from this authentication service, it will go towards user repository, right? So from this, it will go towards app user repository, correct? Then for this expense services, it will call our expense repository. So you need to draw like this, simple. It's very easy. So, sorry, what happened? No, not like that. To come here, bro, you need to mention it like this. Okay. Let me remove this. Correct. Okay. So this is the second thing. And for this AI sync processor, what are we doing for this? So let me minimize this, put it over here. Okay. And we have multiple things for this, correct? Because this service should also call some of the things. So what some of the things will be? It will have two parts. First is for the Spring AI, right? So it will be Spring AI. That's the first thing. Let me copy, paste it. Okay. And another thing will be our Spring AI. So this also, yeah. So AI summary, what it will do. So if I need to link this, simple AI summary will link this Spring AI as well. And this one, this async processor will also call this Spring AI. Now, if this is all done, so what will actually happen? This both will call our Grok API and our system is done. So this is completely your system design. If someone will ask how we are going to do it, Are you getting it, guys? 100% clear to all?
Yes.
Yes. So this you need to tell in the interview as well. If you can able to do it, it's fine. Like they will get to know, okay, you have actually you have a system level knowledge for you. Okay. Like from cross cutting, we are data loader seeder we are using, and global exception handle, that's fine. When it comes towards our HTTP clients, we have the authentication filter, security config, stateness plus RBAC, and after that it is calling three part. So three controller it has after the security. So if you need to write part for you, so JWT, this one, HTTP clients is our client layer. This is our security layer. AI controller is nothing. We call it as an API layer. API layer. After that, this will call our service layer. So I would say this is our service layer. After service layer, it will call two things. That is our data layer. So this is our data layer, and we are good with this. Okay, so this is the things, and you all know security design. If someone will ask about the security design as well, right? Security design is also important for this. So a quick recap on your security design. So how we are going to build the security. So also you watch this. This is also important. Security design layer. What is the what is the motive behind this? Because I have noticed some of the folks that know about the security but fail to tell about the system architecture, right? So but that's why this is a request. Someone is watching or your life, just have this check in your mind before starting any interview, like how you will draw it. Okay, the better you show the visibility in the interview, the more chance will be you will get qualified. So there are few things which I'll try to draw over here. I'm very bad at drawing. So yeah, fourth thing. Okay, one, two, three, and four. The first thing is we have the client, cliente, client. Second thing, we'll have this our JWT auth filter. Okay, minimize this. Okay, then we'll have security filter chain. So you can draw like this, or someone will ask how you will design it, the security layer. So you can simple draw like this, not an issue. So security filter design. And the last one is your controller. Because after that, the controller is there, right? That we have draw earlier. So this is the controller. Okay, fine. So these are the four things that we need to draw. So for the client, what you need to do? So for the client, you need to write like this. That this client request plus uh, authorization. So auth I will write. That will call create a bearer JWT. I explained about the bearer JWT. Not going to explain now. After bearer JWT, we have multiple things for this. Okay. So what will actually happen? I'll now quickly draw. So we have multiple validation layer, right? So I'll say validate. First thing, how it will validate JWT. Then after that, how the process will start. After validating the JWT, it will load with the user. Correct. That's the first thing. Second thing, we are going to set the security context. Set security context. Okay. Then allow if authenticated. Yeah. Allow if authenticated plus we are using this pre-authorize annotation. Pre-authorize. Okay. And then we'll provide with the JSON response. Okay. These are the four things. Now we'll map it. Okay. So from client to JSON response till controller, we want this. Okay. So it will link like this. Okay. Allow if will come from this security filter change to our pre-authorized state. Then from JWT, so from JWT to security filter chain, we will see this. These are the stage. Okay, from JWT to security filter, it will set the security context. And the last one is for validation. So this validation. So first client. So from here to JWT, this request plus bearer JWT. After that, we have this validate part, and this will rotate here like this, validate JWT. So whatever the user, that's why we have marked like this. So it will validate again and again according to the user role. So this process has multiple user. That's why it will show you the multiple role. Wow, what is this? This is great. Okay, let me delete this. Okay. So this is your security design layer, and I think is very, very easy. So if you get to know, so you can say that from client to JWT to security filter to controller, how it is going, you will get to know. 100% clear to everyone. Now you get to know how we need to draw it. Okay, perfect. So let's quickly move towards our code, and this, I think I have shared it already. Let me share it again. Copy board link, and if you want to see real time, you can see it as well. I have pasted it. Okay, yeah, just try to open it if you can able to open it. So let's quickly move towards the code. What we have done till app.user in the last class, I think we have completed towards our repository classes, right? So, I mean, we need to start with our service from today. We saw other DTOs as well, and it's been completed. So let's start with the expense services. Okay. So we have this service. Where is the service? Yeah. So we have this service, and inside the AI we have multiple services. That's why we are bifurcated into two parts: the main service as well as for the AI. So if I open again our resource not found exception, it is very easy. Last time also in the first project I explained that this is the behavior. So what happened if employee submits it? Status will always start with our pending. So employee can see their own expenses, and it will filter by login user. That's the main agenda. Okay. So if I open this resource not found exception, it is very simple that if there is any issues happen, so we'll say that we are not able to fetch or process the requested result. Okay, that is the first resource not found exception. You can close it, not an important. Second thing, for expense controller that we have seen over here, let me open this expense controller. So we'll have multiple mappings for this. We have post mapping, we have get mapping, and so we have multiple things. Okay, so controller we will explain later. So first we'll start with our AI. So the first AI is expense services. Obviously we need to open. So this expense service is very important. Like if expense service is there, so repository is expense repository, app user repository, and async expense AI processor. So I will explain it. As of now, just forget about this. So what are we trying to do for this? We have annotated as the service class. So till now, just you can forget about this. Private final async AI is not important. So you can remove from this, and from this is fine. Then we have other transactional annotations that we are using. So transactional annotations, I explained you, but this first listen, what are we doing? First is just transactional over this method, that is for the submit. So this submit has multiple things. Yeah. So first is the request that is there, and your user event. What is the username email? Okay, because we have multiple employees. So with the help of user email that is unique, we are trying to submit it. Okay. So expense, we are creating an object. We are setting the title, description, amount, expense date, status, and submitted by our user. That is fine. Okay. It is coming from get user or through email. Okay. From this, we are calling it. After that, once we save it, so this, I will explain it later. What are we actually doing? It is return expense response dot from save. Okay, that is the first method. Second method, if I want to find my expenses, so it will call find mine. Here with the user email, we'll call the database, and data will say that expense repository dot find submitted by whatever the user, and use the Java 8 feature. Okay, method reference dot from. So this from is a method that that will inside your response. If I show you this, So it will give you the response like get ID, get title, get description, get uh, your amount, expense, everything. You, if you want to see, you can see it, and it will create a list. Okay, till now it's clear to everyone, guys? The service is clear to everyone? Okay, perfect. Then let's discuss about this. Like resource not found is why a custom exception. Again, when a user or expense is not found, I'll open again explaining. When a user or expense is not found, we throw this instead of returning null. So the global exception handler catches it and returns 404 JSON automatically. Okay, never return null from a service. Always remember entire your life, never ever return null from a service. Throw a named exception. Okay, like here we are saying the resource not found. Okay, so it will get to know, like callers know exactly what went wrong for this. That's fine. And here we have another thing. If I open our expense service, right? So we are using the constructors. You all know, right? Find, we have this method. Okay, so Spring Boot recommends the constructor injection. That's why we are using this constructor injection and making it this final. You all know, I'm not going to explain again. Transactional versus transactional read-only true. So we have used two things. First is transaction, and second thing why we have used read-only true. Again, submit. If I say submit method, so submit writes, right? Because use, so we are using transactional. So it will open a read-write transaction. For clicking for this method, I haven't added this one, this sentence, this words read only equals to 2. Why? Because I know if we submit it, there is read write operation is there. That's why I've said like this. Find mine is basically if I only want to read it, there is nothing I need to write it. That's why I have mentioned read only equals to 2. So DB can optimize. There won't be any no dirty check overhead. So read only is a performance hint. Always use it only read only method, and I have explained you. Okay. Then yeah, for the find mine, okay, we have mentioned it, right? Expense dot submitted, so it is calling it. So all employee must only see their own expenses. That's why if I say find all, then it will return everyone's data. That's why we have mentioned find mine. Okay, so we filter at the repository level, so the DB do less work as well. Okay, then I think you all know about the transactional. Do I need to explain again, or it's fine? You know about this, guys? You know about this transactional? Okay. So the little bit start with the interview questions and services. Okay, about this. So what does add direct transactional do? Your answer should be simple. It will wrap method in a DB transaction, commit on success, rollback on exception. When is rollback triggered? Any unchecked exception, not checked, any unchecked exception like runtime exception, by default, it will get rollback, will be triggered. Why read only equals to true? So it will tell the DBA or Hibernate, this is a select query, and it will enable the optimization. What is self-invocation problem? So if I am calling at the rate transactional method from the same class, bypasses the Spring proxy. So it is a self-invocation problem. Okay, so tomorrow we have class. I will give you homework on this. What is self-invocation problem? Just please take a good look over this. Tomorrow we can discuss it. Where should transactional live? So service layer only, not controller, not repository. That is a mandatory thing. Okay, I hope so till now it's clear to all. Okay, do you want break of 2 minutes before starting? Yes, no? Okay, so the time, tell me.
Yeah, when I read transaction, there was one another term that is propagation. In that, I have seen that there was some propagation dot required, somewhat
Mhm.
requires new. So, are we using these or we are using simple transaction?
We are using simple transaction for this.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll explain you about this propagation, when to use, when not to use. Just remind me when we'll try to close this call. So before that, remind me, okay? We will have a discussion on this.
sure, sure.
Yeah, again, Suresh, you come up with the great point. Great. Yeah. So let's take 2 minute break. We can connect at 4:42. Perfect. So we saw the service class. Okay, we have the multiple methods like approve, like reject. We'll see it later once we start it. But before that, what I'm feeling is we need to discuss about the security layer. Okay, because also if I quickly go towards our this, so you will see like inside this first thing is JWT authentication filter. So what was my main purpose to explain about the service? So authentication service or explain service. So these type of services we can usually write, and this is the way of writing it. That's why I have explained toward this. But right now for this class, we'll first try to understand how this JWT authentication filter stateless plus RBAC will work. Okay, so we will quickly open a folder for this. So assume like you have a new person. What you can do, create a folder. After creating the folder, security, right click, create a Java part, and the first thing you will see about the JWT services. Okay, so now let's see what are we doing actually this. Okay, yeah. So we have multiple imports. We should not write import io dot star, because till now in local it will work fine. But once you dockerize the things, this star has a lot more of library and it can give you trouble. It will start what I say, owning the space towards your cloud. That's why never ever give, try to not avoid, try to avoid writing star. Okay. So guys, again, this is our JWT service. It is not inside the service. This is a security folder. That's where we have added at the service annotation. So it will trigger first our service class. The value $app.jwt.secret will come from our app.yml file or where from the secret key. Okay, sometimes the secret will call from the AWS secret manager. Sometimes it will call from this. So it totally depends on our users. We have expiration a millisecond. So last time when we were discussing about the JWT, so we saw like secret key and expiration in millisecond. It totally depends like after how much time you want the particular secret key to be expired. That's why we have written expiration millisecond. And if I open this YML file, so definitely will write somewhere, and it's your task, find it where we have written. So JWT secret and this expiration millisecond. Okay, this is the same thing. So app.jwt.secret app.jwt expiration hyphen ms. See, JWT expiration error there. So from there it is coming it. So totally application.yml is configurable in production. You can optimize it by your own way. That's why we have used add the rate value. So it will add the value from your backend or .yml file. Perfect. The first thing is string generate token. You all know, like we have seen multiple times, like we are using email and extra claims claim subject issued at expiration. So you don't need to write or remember all the things. It's just like simple how it is work. The method is very important. Okay, method is very important if you are learning to work this. Not like you need to write claim subject issued at expiration. No, somewhere the claims we are building for generating the token. So you will say extra claim. You will map as a key value pair. Inside the key, the string and object will be get generated and it will return our builder pattern. Inside this builder, we'll have this claim subject. So claim will come from this and email ID of the particular person. The date, expiration, all everything will come from this value and it will sign with our signing key. Okay, sign with our signing key. This is also inside a JWT builder and .compact. So if I want to enrich or serialize to a compact version that is URL safe, we can do like this. That's why we have using .compact. Simple. So getter setter is done. You all know. So and this is our extract all coin. Okay. So let me explain what is actually happening. So for this generate token, it will build a signed JWT string. It will build a signed JWT string. So what actually happening? We embed the email as subject and put role in extra claims. Both travel inside the token. That's why we have two things. Okay. Again, generate token, email, and extra claim. So it totally again depends on your production level application, what you need to fill towards this payload signature header. There I am trying what I want email ID as well as role. So I'll say we embed the email as subject and put role in extra claims. Both travel inside the token. Okay. Dot subject email. It is standard JWT field who this token is for. Who this token is for. So we will read this back in the filter to know who is making the request because we have the multiple user ID, right? We have the multiple email IDs. So we don't know like which user is calling to for who I need to create a token. That's why we are going to pass the email. Then we have expiration. Expiration due date means token will die after 24 hours. Already I explained you the meaning how we are going to calculate it. So 24 hours I have mentioned over here. 864000000. That is around 24 hours. Okay. So after expiry, the user must log in again or old tokens are permanently invalid. Then we have sign with get signing key is like HMAC SHA-256. I explained last time as well. HMAC SHA-256 signature using our secret. So if anyone tampers with the token body, the signature check fails, token will get rejected. Okay. Get signing key, this is nothing. It will just convert our JWT string to a secret key. Convert JWT uh, secret string to secret key object. So the secret must be at least 32 character for HMAC 256. That's why we set a long string in our environment folder. So if I open our .env, yeah, here, so we can have this JWT secret key. So inside this production code demo secret change in production minimum 32 characters. So we have set like this. Okay. Perfect. Then is there anything? I think there is one method. Token valid. Yeah, this is also important, guys. This is token valid. So this token valid means it will check email match and not expired part. Okay, so two checks: is this token for this user and is it still fresh? So it will give you return email dot equals user detail dot get username and is not expired. So true or false, it will return. Extract email. Okay, extract email will have the method extract email token. This one, this is very easy. It will read the subject field from token payload. If there is no DB call, the email is already inside the token. That's the stateless benefit. Okay, this one, extract token. What are we doing over here? It no I mean no database call. So the email is already inside the token. The email is already inside the token. That's the stateless benefit we are doing over here. Okay, so I'll send you this whole as a PDF now so that you can see each and every method inside this. That's why I'm telling you for the AI right now inside this AI modernization part in this world, we know all the things, right? AI can do all the things and we can simply write a prompt and it will be easy. But the main agenda is, are we really getting to know about how the particular claims and all are working? This is the thing that actually every organization is now searching it. If they know You can write generate token method. They know you can write complete method, but what is the logic behind it is the missing part that mostly developers are missing. That's why it's a humble request to check the things that we are writing over here. Like signing key, it will returning key plus HMAC key, secret plus get byte. So this is converting it, right? So you should know like what is claim resolver and apply claims. I'm not telling you to remember it. To write to remember these code, but yes, topic should be remembered for you, so that if someone will ask, what does this generate token use? So simply you say, we are embedding the email as subject and put role in extra claims. So both will travel inside the token. Why are we using? We have multiple user, we have multiple roles. In order to bifurcate between the user and role, we want particular email ID and the role of the person so that the token will be unique. Clear? Till now it's clear? No? Yes? Okay, perfect. Then we'll go towards our next JWT authentication filter. This is very, very simple class. We have used this @ component. Can anyone tell me what is @ component? No? No one knows?
This one is going to create a beam in IOC container.
Okay. This one is going to create the bean. So have I annotated anywhere @bean? Think. Why are we using @component? I think first class I explained it.
It will be scanned by the component scan and it will create a JWT filter, auth filter kind of pin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I see the bean concept. I think the person who said is also correct. So other component we are using it. It will create an object or bean of this particular class, and manage it inside the IOC. So please stick with whatever you are saying. Okay. Who told? I Shubham, you said right.
No,
Okay, so yes, you said. So just stick with the logic. You are correct, right? So if I'm saying that no, it's not correct, you should counter me. No, so this is the thing you should know, right? So correct. It's
sure.
good. Yeah. Okay. So let's start now. We have this good code amount of code that we have written. Again, no need for this. Just have the basic thing. What are we going to do inside JWT service? How we are going to create a token? That is clear. Inside the JWT auth filter, what are we actually doing? Okay. So simple. What is once per request filter? This is once per request filter. This is a very important term inside the JWT authentication filter. Okay. So Spring ensures that this filter run exactly. Spring ensure this filter runs exactly once per HTTP request. There should not be duplicate processing. Okay. So if I need to create a good diagram for this, guys, to see how it is working, and it is very important. This class is very, very important. Okay. So see, like your request arrives. Okay, your request arrives. Okay, you say open the postman or something, request arrives. Second thing, what it will do, the first processes will be, it will read, what it will read, our authorization header. Authorization header. That's the first thing it will do. Second thing is no header or no bearer. Okay, what will happen? It will skip the filter. Skip the filter. Okay, continue the chain. Continue chain. Okay, third thing, it will extract the JWT after you provide the bearer. The 7 word is there, BEE 3, 4, 5, 6. After this space, so after, so the 7th word it will start it. So bearer. Then what it will do, it will extract the email that we are passing. So extract email from the token. How it is working, the C. Extract email from token, and there is no DB call. So I said no DB call yet. Okay. Then we have provided inside the extra claim user, so it will load the user from DB by email. Okay, then it will validate the token. So validate the token, validate token. So if you say that email correct plus not expired, right? So I'll say not expired, yes, then you do it. After that, set the authentication in security context. Okay, and at the last, continue towards your controller. Continue to controller. So only if just remember this wholesome thing for your life. Okay, if anyone will ask about this, see how request comes, how authorization header is there. This is wholesome Spring security checks that if you able to know this, you can easily crack any Spring security related interview. Authorization header, it will start reading. If there is no header, no bearer, it will skip the filter because there is nothing we have provided. Okay, and continue the chain. It will, if you provided it, the bearer, it will extract our JWT. It will extract the email from the token. There is no DB call yet. After extracting the token, it will load the user from the database by email or from the seeder. It will validate the token like email match plus not expired. After that, it will set the authentication where inside the security context. And you know the meaning of this context? Context is basically the brain of any layer. So application context means the brain of application. Security context means the brain of the security. The security context. And it will continue to our controller. Till now it's clear to everyone. Yaad rahega to all? Okay, perfect. So let's go towards the code and see what actually we have written. So component is there, JWT authentication filter we have written over here. So we have one thing, if I go back, so this is very easy. Getter, this is, we are creating the final constructor, parameterized constructor, and override we are using. So if you go towards this, once per filter, once per filter had two filter methods, right? We have skip dispatch. So we have multiple methods. So if we are using extending it, we need to implement it. So at the rate we are using at the rate override. Do filter has multiple things: request, response, and the filter chain. It is throwing two exception, servlet exception, IO exception. Then we have this thing: final string header equals to request dot get header. And after that, authorization, because final string, we have authorization that we will pass it. And this is very important. So you say that if authorization is null or it is not starting with this bearer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this 7. Okay, this is the space I have mentioned over here. Okay, so bearer is 7 character. We chop it off to get the raw JWT string, like EY something something we have, right? So for this bearer, we say like we will chop it to get the raw JWT. That's why we have mentioned like this. If it is doing this, it will go towards this filter chain dot do filter and request the response. Then we have security context holder dot get context dot get authentication. This one. Yeah. So if you are not, if username is not null and we have this context authentication is null, means do not re-authenticate if already set, prevents from the double processing. So we are saying that inside the context, whatever the context you are saying, if it is null and username is there and it is not null, what you need to do? So do not, so this line is saying that do not re-authenticate if already set, prevent double from the double processing. Then it will say that new username, this one, new user password authentication means three principal we are passing, right? Principal credential. So we have say user detail, user dot get authorities, right? So, and this is credentials are null. So user detail, credentials, and get authorities means that null JWT will provide the identity, roles is there, and this is what authentication dot get name will read in the controller. So that's a user detail dot get authorities. Then the last one is filter chain dot do filter means like this filter chain. Always call this at the end, so it passes the request to the new filter or the new controller. So this is again the very important part. I'm not telling you to remember it, but yes, check the main thing which I've explained. Watch the recording 100 I mean 100 times and see crystal clear like what this method is doing, what this method is doing, and what this method is doing. Okay, simple. This JWT filter and this one also once per request. And the main thing is this one. So 4 to 5 things you should see. This 4 to 5 things inside your JWT you should see. You will get to know about this JWT filter. Clear, guys? 100% to all. Are you understanding it? What are we building?
Can you please explain from line number 46?
Yeah, once again. This one you're saying? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So this one is saying that whatever the user email you are providing from this, okay, JWT service dot extract the email. Okay. So if you have HR at that core credos or employer at that core credos.in, it will say that okay, user email is not null. Okay. And this security filter. So this is basically trying to tell you that do not re-authenticate the user. Okay, so first time it is passing the null because we have the security context is null, then only it will call and create the token. Correct? Getting it? If I have the security context holder dot authentication with some value, so it won't pass this. So that way we are saying that if it's for the first time, so do not
Okay, means
re-authenticate if
when
already
we are
set.
logging, at the time of logging, that time only this code is going
Correct.
to, right? Once I logged in, then I will
Hmm.
generate the token. Then if I send the token, then I'm not going to come this code, right? Come on this code.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. Okay. And then we have this method like it will call the user detail service dot load by username, whatever the user email we are providing, and it will check it like if JWT service is valid. Okay, from this is token valid. Let me open this code. This one that we already set it like string email extract email email dot equals. If it is, then set it and set over this credentials. Okay, so take a 2 minute of pause on this. I'll paste this code, check it, and let me know if you have doubt because this is very important code.
In this, one more question I am having
Hmm.
is that
Hmm.
we have make an expiration of 24 hours, right? And
Uh,
suppose if I'm using the platform at that particular moment when my token is going to expire, so are
hmm.
we using any refresh token concept or do we use something like that?
Okay. So what will happen actually after 24 hours once you log in? Okay. So sometimes we provided if we are using the Nginx, okay, for the UI, what actually it does is it sends the cookie because I think last class we explained it right where the session stores stores inside your local memory. So what happen if from the UI the token get expired? So at that point of time, it will silently create a new token. Okay. But if you're using
Mhm.
from the backend does not have the authority to generate it again. So it what it will do after 24 hours, it will see that okay, now the token has been expired. I don't have any silent mechanism to recreate the particular token for the particular ID. So it will again create. It is not like to send internally and you can able to use the particular thing. Okay, so there are two mechanisms. I mean, just check my last to last recording. I have explained there like how
Mhm.
UI works and how your backend works for this
Okay,
authorization part. Okay. Yeah, I have a detailed video. Please check that one. Okay.
sure.
So guys, just take a 2 minutes of break from this. Okay. Just see about this. It is very important. Then we will start with our security conflict. I'll resume at 5, 6. Okay, so again, those who have doubt for this line, so for this line, what is actually happening? The question was like after 24 hours, what will happen? So our lifetime we have decided is 24 hours. So after that, if client sends the authorization with our old token, so the first, second step will be it will filter or extract the token and tries to read the email, or it will try to validate it. So we have this JWT dot is token valid. Let me see inside this service. Okay, we have is token valid method, right? It will fail because is token is expired. Okay, this one is token expired, so it's true, or it will pass it, or it will throw the error. So library will reject that expired claim during the parsing. So authentication is never set on this security context folder, always remember, and the request continues as an anonymous or unauthenticated user because the credential has been expired, so you are no longer a valid user. Then protected endpoints will return 401 or 403 depending on our security configuration. Then it will read out to your public routes like slash login or something. So the user must log in again to get a new JWT. The role token is not renewed automatically by this filter. Second thing is, I think Suez asked this about this user password authentication. Where is the security? This one he has asked, right? So it means like if is there already a logged in user for this request? So security context holder is like a thread local place where Spring stores who is calling right now. So assume like I am calling for this. Okay. Get authentication equals to null means nobody is authenticated yet on this request. So I am a very new user. So while this check is exist, so filter will only build and set the authentication when email exists in JWT and there is no authentication is set yet. So it does not overwrite an existing authenticated user on the same request. So example is for the request one, first hit with a valid JWT. Okay. So what happened? We make so this one is was null. Okay. So condition is true. It will load the user. If token will be valid, it will set the authentication. Later, controller will see the user has logged in. Second request, what will happen? Already authenticated somehow. Assume like we have already authenticated. So just like we have another filter already set authentication, same request path was re-entered. This time, what will happen inside this get authentication method, username, password, user equals to assume, we can say Suyas. Okay. So this time condition is false because this filter now skip the authentication again. It will avoid the reloading or overwriting. Okay. Second, third thing is again Suez come after 24 hours. Okay, with the expired JWT. So get authentication has null, still null, and its token is also false. So it will authentication will say that we am null. It will protect the API with 401. So after 24 hours, the token is invalid. So the filter, yeah. So the filter marks you as a logged in. Get authentication will mark you as null means this request has no authenticated user yet. So we met set one from the JWT. Till now is clear to all now. A clear work to all. Okay. Panisha, Akhil, and Lawrence, Shubham.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So please never forget this, guys, because it took a lot more time for me as well to prepare on this part. Okay, so this is very important part. This is basically a summarized for actually how the string authentication works. Okay, let's go towards the new thing. So let me open inside our configuration. That is our security config. And this is again one of the most important files. Okay, so we have three things, enable web security, configuration, and enable method security. These three annotations, we will see what actually it is holding. And it is very simple, right? Last class also we saw that we are using the JWT app user repository. We are saying that disable some of the things, API auth or something, or S2 console, permit all, or dot request session management is there. So what are we mentioning? This we will try to see. Okay. So the first thing is we have multiple methods over here. So that is for the security filter chain, and this is for the user detail service. This is the provider from where we are going to provide the authentication. Okay. So the first is CSRF.disable. So where is CSRF.disable? I have seen now. Where is the CSRF.disable? This one. Okay. So CSRF stack HTTP configure disable means JWT APIs are stateless. No session cookie to protect. Okay. That's why we are saying CSRF disable. Okay. CSRF attacks exploit session cookies as we have seen in week 3. So JWT has no cookies. CSRF does not apply, so safe to disable it. That's why we are disabling it. Okay. Here it is for disabling. Disabling. So I say disable. Okay. Then session create policy dot stateless. Okay. I think I have explained these parts, so I'm not going to explain now. You see what is that? If any doubt, then tell me. Main important agenda I'm listing for this session creation policy dot stateless means Spring must not create HTTP sessions. So every request is self-contained. Contained means the token is the session, so no server memory used. The token is the session, the token is the session, the token is the session, no server memory used. That's why we have making session creation policy dot stateless. So Spring Security will never create any session, it will never use it to obtain the security context. Okay. Then permit all. Okay, permit all. This one permit all API or something means login must work without a token. So say that chicken and egg. So you need to able to log in before you have a token. Right. So that's why we have slash API slash or slash star. That's why we have mentioned like this. Then for this as well, console like development only remove or restrict this is in production. So totally depends on you. But I have added as well. For now, I have added. Dot any request dot authenticated means that everything else requires a valid JWT. So one rule covers all future endpoints. So you don't need to whitelist every URL. That's why we have mentioned slash API slash all. Okay, that's why in the production you will see we'll start with some of the uh, common mapping, then whatever the mapping we need to die. So slash API is the common mapping. So that's why we have added the subnet level access or whitelist access for this one. That's why dot authenticated. Then add filter before. Okay, JWT filter and username filter means our filter run before string default authentication filter will come. So we intercept the request first. It will validate the JWT. It will set the user. Then Spring filter will see it already authenticated. That's why we say add filter before Spring. Simple. Spring is missing here. Okay, Spring. This Spring is missing over here. So assume like add dot filter is before Spring. We want to add any our security mechanism. Then this is also important. Headers dot frame options dot disable. Okay, this one headers of frame option and this is disable. Means like H2 console uses iframe. I explained last time as well. So it will work by default. So that's why we're saying that H2 console won't load without this. So remove in the production. Okay, that's why we have added like frame option dot disable. Then very easy. Be encrypt password, right? Bean means it will share the password encoder across the application. So one bean, so I have mentioned like bean at the red means one bean inject everywhere, never create new be encrypt password encoder inline. Enable method security. Okay, this one. Enable method security is nothing. It enables pre-authorized on service or controller methods. Okay, we will see next class like what is pre-authorized, but as you can say that it will enable the pre-authorized on service or controller method. That's why we have added this method. Okay. So if we have the invalid JWT signature, the fix will be JWT should be minimum 32 character. 403 on all the root fix. We will see. We will check JWT authentication filter. Till now it's clear to everyone. What is security config? Still have doubt inside security config, then JWT authentication filter, JWT service.
So in that file, we are managing only authentication, right? Not
Hmm.
authorization.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So what I'm thinking again, when I was learning the Spring Boot, these type of method when I was watching like security config, right? Then JWT authentication filter, then JWT service. How these are interrelated? Correct? Are you? I mean, this question is coming inside your mind or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. I know because I have faced the same thing. Like, sir, why security config? Then again, we are jumping to authentication filter. So again, this is a great thing if you are thinking. Okay, so let me draw again, and this guys have a screenshot or something. This is very important. Okay, once you miss this, again, you need to start with some of the things. Okay, so it's my humble request. Record it or take the screenshot. Okay, so let's start. First thing is they are related by the role, not by calling each other. Okay, so we have seen inside the week 2 and week 4, right, that we have separate apps that uses the same security pattern. Okay, so what are we actually doing? Simple. I will write here security config. What security config is doing? Nothing. It is policy plus wiring. I remember like this, policy plus wiring. Security config will answer which URL are public, which URL are public versus which are protected. Protected. It will answer you. Okay. If you call the security config, it will say the policy plus wiring policy. Okay, plus wiring mechanism. Which URL are public or protected? How is the user authenticated? How is the user authenticated? There's the second thing. Okay. Third thing is where does JWT auth filter, okay, filter, auth filter sit in filter chain, filter chain. Okay. So this is the first thing. So what I actually happening, we are creating the filter as a bean, then run it before Spring username password. Okay, so we are doing the same thing. So if you call security config, it is going to give you three responses: URL, how the user is authenticated, and where does this JWT auth filter sit in the filter chain. Second thing, okay. Second thing, JWT auth filter. JWT auth filter. The meaning is, who is this request? Who is this request? Okay, it means both will do the same job. Okay, what it will do? It will read authorization. Okay, bearer token. This is my authentication filter. Second, what it will do? It will parse the JWT, and it will get our username or email. Okay. Third thing, it will also load the user. So JWT auth filter is very important. Fourth thing, what it will do? It will put again. What it will put? Authentication into security context folder. Okay. Then what will happen after that? Security configurations rule decide. Okay. After doing this, after calling this JWT, what actually will happen at this layer? We have security config file, right? So security config. Okay. will config rule decides what it will decide, that authenticated or not. So authenticated allow, simple, authenticated allow slash API slash whatever the thing. Okay, not authenticated, authenticated give 401 403. Okay, so two things here. If I need to write it, JWT auth filter, what it will do? It will simply identify the user from JWT. Identify user from where? From JWT. That is the first thing. What security config will do? What security config will do? It will decide if the particular user is allowed or not. That is the two thing. Okay. Now clear? 100% clear?
Yes. I have one doubt.
Mhm.
Can you go back to the Miro?
Okay.
Uh, you, uh, Go up a little bit.
Mhm.
Go up. Wait. Uh, no. There. Go down a little bit. Wait. Yeah. So, at the first line, which URL are public versus protected, right?
Okay.
So, when you say URL, you means API, right?
Yes. API. Correct.
So let's say we have a multiple API, right, for
Mhm.
create, for update, or for delete, right? And
Mhm.
create and update APIs are public, and delete is protected, right? So like how we are like how we are making API public or protected in our project. So when you say public, so what do you mean by public? Is it accessible
Public
to
means
everyone?
login. Yeah, login. Just say that login. Login is public, right?
Okay, and the protected means the internal API, right?
Exactly. So assume like if you have a user role of admin. Okay. So slash API slash admin. If I say slash API slash admin slash dot star, so it
Mhm,
is protected. So what will happen if you are not admin? Okay.
mhm,
So this will be protected. You are not able to invoke the particular API.
mhm,
This is the use of our URL public versus protected. So I'll tell
mhm,
you the right. So according to here as well, we can set, yeah, according to here we can set multiple request matcher according to the role. So if
mhm,
you are a user, you can, I mean, if you are employee, you can access 3 APIs. If you are manager, you can access 4 APIs. If you are admin, you can access any API. Okay.
mhm.
So
Correct.
here also we can able to set it the pattern matcher. So basically what I'm trying to say, if you are say slash API slash authentication, give access to all. Okay. Once
Mhm,
it is authenticated, authentication required, it's fine. You can access it, but
mhm,
we can invoke the access towards the API here as well. No issues according to the role. So here
okay.
we need to decide the user detail, password and something, and here we can match it up. So I think just check the first project that we have set. We are using the particular login filter there as well.
So
Hmm.
where we are defining role for let's say user or admin.
Yes, this is a data loader, right?
Okay.
I'll just come on this. Yeah, I'll just explain so you will get to know. Okay, this
Yeah.
exists by email, so you will get to know like how this is related. Okay.
Yeah.
So just here you can see as of now what is happening. We have this user detail service class, user detail service. One second, let me open this. Yes. So it is implement that is coming by the Java. Okay. So what actually it is storing? It will first call our app user repository find by the email name that we have. Then it will map with our builder pattern, and from there we are finding user.get email or dot password dot role. If I go towards this data loader, it will find from this set email, set password, set full name. So I'll tell you like how app user repository will first store it. Okay, you can see here, right? App, if it is not there, then inside the app user repository, if it is not there, please set it. Okay, set email, set password. So from there, if we are accessing with these particular three email IDs, so it will fetch over here, and according to this, we will try to get access for. It will create a JWT, and then you can access the particular APIs.
Okay. So can
Hmm.
you go back to the data loader.java class?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this app user repository, right?
Hmm.
So in that object, we are checking exist by email.
We are checking. I told you, right? Find my email and just by email. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So yeah. So the exist by email, like what I understand here is employee
Hmm.
at the rate codecados.in is a user email, right?
Okay.
But let's say if we are registering a new employee like Shubham or Suyash, right?
Hmm.
So in that case, how it will get created and how it will be checked, because this is, I think this is hard coded, right? So
Okay.
it will only work for these three emails.
Yes, correct, 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 correct. It can only
Okay,
work
okay.
for these three. That's why we have
Yes.
said, na, data loader. So according to this pattern, I have told you, right? This
Mhm.
data loader seeder plus global exception. So first it will seed the existing data. We are not, I told you, right? This for this project, second project, we are not invoking, wasting time on providing the access from the database of admin user or something. The role of from the email ID what we will provide. So once we run the SpringBoot application, employee at the codecados.in and manager at the codecados or admin at the codecados will get inserted. Okay. Once you log in with our these three email IDs, then only you are going to create a JWT and you can start working. This is the logic. Okay,
Yes, understood.
fine. Okay, so now it's good time. Now I think you got a feeling like security config, what why are we doing in JWT, what is the actual use, and JWT service is up to you. First check how we are using the JWT service. I'm not going to explain now. It's your homework. If it's still doubt, then tell me like how JWT filter, security, data loads, and auth filter are connecting. But these, if you're able to understand this thing, so everything should be clear for you. Perfect. Let's start with the authentication controller plus data loader, as I think Shubham was saying. Then we can wind up the class. So just open our service class. So inside this service, where is service? Yeah, we have the authentication service. Okay, that we have app repository, password encoder, and JWT service. So we are calling JWT over here. This is a simple class. Okay, what actually we are doing? Just see. For mapping it. So we have app user repository dot find by email, right? This one, app user repository dot find by email, or else throw means we look up the user first. If the email does not exist, we throw bad credential exception that we have created over here. Bad credential exception. Okay, this is also a new exception, and if someone didn't know, we have this bad credential exception as well. Okay, so don't reveal which one is wrong. That is a security card. So this will say invalid credential. Second thing is password encoder dot matches raw password and hashed password. Okay, request dot password, user dot get password. Okay, means decrypt is a one way, so we can't decrypt it. Once we decrypt, we can't decrypt it. Okay, so matches, we have this matches function, right? So if I say matches, this one. So dot matches is basically hashes the input again and compares. So that's how this decrypt verification works. Again repeating for this line, that password encoder dot matches work is decrypt is a one way again, and we cannot further decrypt it, the thing that we have decrypted. So matches is a method. Okay, if I open this particular matches here, it will verify that encoded password obtained from the stored matches that submitted raw password after 2 is encoded. It will return true if the password match, false if they are not. Okay, that's how the bcrypt is going to work for this. Second is map.off role, right? So this is according to our code, like we embed the role inside the JWT payload signature header. So we are inside this extra claim. So you remember this extra claim anywhere we are using? Guys, you remember extra
Yes.
claims? Where?
Insecurity.
inside this security. So if I open this, where is that JWC services, right here, map extra claim. So there we are saying that inside this extra claim, we embed the role so the client can read it to show the right UI. Simple. That is user.getrole.name. And so we are embedding the role inside the JWT payload. Then new auth response. This is simple. We are creating the generating the token is fine. You all know. Auth responses, we return the token plus the metadata. So JWT expiration, user.get email, so the client knows when it expired without decoding the JWT, right? So you remember in the first class when we are trying, I think last class inside the JWT security implementation class, when we are parsing the authorization, it was creating the token and the date and all. So we are just saying that your token is there, your email ID is there, your role is HR employee something, and what is your expiration date and time. So inside the response, we are going to return it. Okay, clear?
Yes. So this return new auth response. So it is returning. So this login is executed from the browser button, right?
Exactly.
So when user click on browser button, so this API gets executed and this new auth response get returned, right? So
Correct.
when it returned, the local storage will have the session token, right?
We'll have the session. Yes.
Okay. So we will not see anything in the browser, right? If
No,
we
no, no.
okay, okay.
Yeah, at that time, so that's why. So inside the UI, I'll tell you. Okay, in the last, I'll explain how it will work. So for this one, there is no token, right? So that's when once we are trying to generate for this. If I go towards the, I think where is that in the last class or somewhere, I showed you, right? If you remember,
Yes,
inside the
yes,
body,
yes,
here it was so same thing, but I mean for the postman it is same, but for the UI, it will store as a session part. Okay,
yes.
so I'll explain
Okay.
you.
So in the local storage, we will
Hmm,
have the JWT token, right?
hmm,
Which consists some fields like security key or CSRF key, right?
hmm,
So
hmm.
so after login, how the dashboard will come up, right? Are we showing anything in the dashboard after login? So
Okay.
how it will redirect it
Hmm.
to the dashboard API after user logged in.
Correct, correct. So right now for this, we are not using any UI, right? As you remember, correct?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
again, I'm repeating again. Okay. So what happened? So let's see. Um, or just hold on. Okay. I'll just complete this auth controller. Then we can start on this and then we can
Yes,
close it. Okay.
yes.
Just give me
Understood.
1 minute. Let me complete it. So this is the service class I showed you. Now the good time is to start with our controller. This we will see today one controller. So our authentication part will be completed. Then tomorrow, starting class the class, I'll show you how it actually works. So REST controller API slash auth, okay, it's fine. And we are calling this service. After that, if we say slash login, so response entity, the request body, we want as a whatever the response they're getting here as a request body, valid it should be there, and the login request. Okay, so the login request is again a DTO, and here we are providing with email and password. Okay, then after that, if you say request, okay, then authentication service will call our this login, and from this login it will search with our email ID, and if it is fine, it will go towards this. Okay, if it is not there, it try to create the claim, and your JWT token will be get inserted as a response. So this is the basic auth controller. Okay, so REST controller, you all know, combines controller with response body. Every method return value becomes JSON automatically. Request mapping slash API slash auth is nothing. It is the base path for all the authentication endpoint for this class. Request body valid, no longer request is nothing. It is request body will deserialize your JSON into the record. Valid will trigger if there is valid annotations or not. Not blank. Email annotation is again validation fail. String will return 400 before reaching to our code. That's why we have written multiple annotation, and it is a production ready annotation. Okay, this is our auth controller, and you all know about this data loader. I explained you, like these are three methods. So command line runner is very important. I forgot it, guys. So what actually happening is Spring Boot run this method once after all beans are ready, perfect for seeding. So command line runner is very important question inside the interview. Always remember why are we using command line. So Spring Boot run this method. Spring Boot run this seed user method once after all the beans are ready. Like we have beans inside our security config. Those things are ready. Then only this will start executing it or creating the bean for this. That's why we have this command line runner. Okay, it is very very important part. That's why I have used this command. Mostly most people will just return it simply like whatever the repository name with the class. But yes, command line is a good way to show like you okay you know about the Spring Boot inside in depth. Okay, then we are returning this argument. So two things we have are the repository and password encoder. Okay, so app user space does not exist, create it. If not, create it. If it does not, create it. Simple. Okay, access by email, check if we restart the app, we don't want to save duplicate user and crash on the unique email constant. That's why we have said that exist by email. Password encoder dot encode will what it will do, we will never store the password. So it will decrypt our EMP123, whatever we have, $2 something something. Then we have three roles seeded, one of each role, so that we can test all these three security path in Postman tomorrow. Okay. Or do you want to see, tell? Do you want now? Let's see. What do you think? Should I try now?
Yes.
Okay. So let me try expense approval, enable sync. Okay. Da, 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 da. Or what we can do. Yeah. I hope so it will work. Let me run this application. I think we will get some of the error, not sure. Hmm. Hmm. What is happening? The dependency of this, the dependency of something in the form of cycle. JWT is defined on this expense classes and JWT are ready window plus. Okay, I was getting some error. Let me see. Authentication filter. We have this. What's this? Okay, okay, yeah. Try again. If not, then tomorrow I'll show you. Bear with me. Okay. Relying upon server requests to discover and they provide by default update your application to remove the dependency against beans and the last resort it may be possible to place the site by switching Spring.4. So let me see what this error I'm expecting was. Let me check. The chat not I'll open wrong here. Okay, my Copilot is also not working. Fine, I'll show you tomorrow. Okay, if there is an issue, I need to check for this. I was also getting in the morning, so I didn't get the time to check it. But yes, tomorrow I'll show you. Okay. So this is all about our auth controller. Okay, and we'll quickly see uh, what actually we are holding for this, how it works in UI as well as in the Postman. So again, I'm repeating same thing. Like JWT is the same idea in both places. Like we'll log in once, get a token, send that token on every protected request. Postman and UI only differ in who stores and attach the headers. Okay. So if I quickly write about the shared flow, okay, shared flow is very easy. If every time just write like this, okay, in your life as well, just try to write like this, everything will get sorted. How we are going to share the thing, okay. So we have this API, we have this auth, we have this login. We are logging with our, let me reload it, it is giving some bugs. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. We have this email. Oh God. Password. Second thing is server returns JWT. Okay, fine. So the JWT will be like token and it will start like EYJH something something. Perfect. Third thing is client stores the token. Stores token. That's the third thing. Fourth thing, later request add. Okay, like client will store later the request add if we add it, so it will like authorization, and then bearer EYJ something 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 added. Okay, then it comes here the JWT auth filter. Auth filter that is going to reads the header, then it will set the security context and it will allow the API. So this is the flow. Okay. The fourth thing is the 4 to 5 point are the flow. So no token, no expired thing, filter does not authenticate 401. Okay, the first thing. This is a shared flow. Now, how it works inside our Postman. So first thing, in Postman, and I would say this is the manual. Okay. So what we'll do? Step one, we say a method that is post. Okay. And your URL, whatever the URL, slash API slash auth slash log. That's the first thing. Then for the body, what you do, you say that inside the raw, inside the JSON, we say the email and we say the password. Two things we are going to pass it over here. Email and password. Then if we say that press enter in the backend, the token will get generated. So step two, the copy token, we'll do the copy the token, whatever the things we are getting. Then we'll call the protected APIs. Protected APIs. Okay. Then inside the authorization tab, we'll have the bearer token. We'll try to paste token. So Postman does not remember login by itself unless you save the token somewhere else. So you paste it for each request or collection or set collection level bearer authentication one. So we have multiple things inside the Postman. So simple is whenever every time you want to send request, you need to pass header as well with the token that you are providing. Then for the front end guys, what happened for UI? Front end. See, first we just try to simple is like the UI will automate the storage plus header. Automate the storage plus header means you do a login. Okay. After login, it will save the token. Save token where? Inside its local storage or session storage. Totally depends on you. Storage or memory. Okay. After that, on every call, it will just fetch it. The method will be like fetch or something. So it will just try to fetch the headers, whatever the headers, and then your request will be successful. So on logout, it delete the token. After 24 expiry, our expiry, API will return 401. So UI should send user back to login. Are you getting it? Still have doubt? No? Yes. Okay. Fine. So if there is no doubt, we can wind up the session. We will connect tomorrow at the same time and we will just try to complete our expense approval system so that you can get at 1 week time to see everything end to end. And if it's still doubt, so next week we can connect on this and we'll get our doubt clear. Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for joining. We can drop off.
Sure. Thank you.